Kuttab, a human rights and peace activist, is a member of the bar in New York, Palestine, and Israel. He's the co-founder of Al-Haq and the Mandela Institute for Prisoners, the Palestinian Center for Nonviolence. He is a treasurer of Nonviolence International. Jonathan.
Good evening, everybody. I can tell from the large number of people who have gathered on both sides of the street that there's a lot of caring for what's going on in Israel and Palestine. And that is as it should be. Because I think the one thing that's really missing over there is a sense of empathy and understanding for the other side. I think that if the Israelis had any kind of empathy towards Palestinians, it would be very hard for them to carry out the policies that they are carrying out. By the same token, if I look at the Israelis today, I find the people who are very, very frightened, who are very, truly paranoid. Unfortunately, the past has given them a lot of reason to be afraid and to be frightened. But the level of paranoia that exists there, and which is being fed, unfortunately, by people like our honorable guest today, Bibi Netanyahu, is that he builds on that fear. He creates and increases the level of fear. The problem is that when you have that level of fear and paranoia, that's also combined with tremendous power and strength, and also combined with a sense of impunity, with protection, where you can do anything, it's a very explosive combination. That means that a person who is truly scared, but who has very powerful weapons in his hands, he can be dangerous to himself and to others. We have seen Israelis being urged to carry their guns around and shoot to kill anybody that they even suspect. The result is that they've been shooting other Jews, they've been shooting innocent people, they've been shooting when they did not need to shoot, and they have been trying to create situations that make the situation worse rather than better. What do we do when there's a whole people who are so wounded, so hurt, so frightened, and yet so powerful and having so much power at their disposal? I can tell you some things that you cannot do. You cannot give them more weapons. It doesn't help. You cannot give them impunity. You cannot allow them to do whatever they want and get away with it. You cannot insulate them from the rest of the world. Right now, there is a government in Israel that tells the average Israeli Jew that you are in danger. The whole world is against you. You cannot rely on anybody. The only solution to your problems is weapons, more weapons, violence, more violence, action, repression, and even more repression. And if that doesn't work, do even more of it. This is not a formula for a solution. This is a formula for disaster for Israelis as well as Palestinians. I started by saying that we need empathy. We really need to understand the wounded spirit of Israeli Jews that has reached a level of sickness that needs to be healed before we can have any peace. But having said that, we must not also lose sight of the fact that the situation is in no way symmetrical. The fact that the Israelis are frightened does not give them the authority to do whatever they want. The fact that Palestinians are being oppressed also does not give them license to do whatever they want. We must move beyond the present situation, move into a situation of healing, move into a situation of reconciliation. But that cannot happen as long as the current occupation and the current oppression persists. We must recognize that there is an occupier and an occupied. There is an aggressor and there is a victim. There is somebody who is powerless and there is somebody who is all-powerful. The fact that the powerful is also paranoid, the fact that they are frightened, is certainly something to worry about, but not something to excuse. We must move beyond that. We must move into a situation of peace, and we must move into a situation of coexistence. But to do that, we cannot continue with the present policy. Unfortunately, there are those, like Prime Minister Netanyahu, who thrive on fear, who also stoke the hatred that exists instead of trying to find a resolution. This is the task ahead of us, and unfortunately there are too many people who pretend to care about Israeli Jews, but who are only helping them along a path that is suicidal, that is dangerous to themselves. If only the people on the other side of the street truly care about Israelis, I don't think they would be as welcoming to Prime Minister Netanyahu.